The power of Cam Jurgens, we talked about yesterday. He
Yes.
got his new deal, got paid.
So much money.
The result of Cam Jurgens and his new deal with the Philadelphia Eagles, so much that whoever stole A.J. Brown's car and was called out by A.J. Brown got his car back.
Did he?
I think it's because of Cam Jurgens. The media is reporting that after his threat on social media, the police may have found his vehicle.
I don't know if Cam Jurgens had anything to do with A.J. Brown getting his car. I think A.J. Brown, a big, powerful man, threatening another human on social media saying, hey, bring me my car back or there are going to be major problems for you, probably had more so to do with his car being returned to him than Cam Jurgens signing the second biggest center deal in the NFL.
There was a lot of thievery yesterday. A.J. Brown's car, Christy Nome had her purse with $3,000 in cash stolen.
Well, people still carry cash
around with $3,000 in cash.
Maybe at the War Horse?
I was about to say the only people I would know would be go to the casino.
Read the pamphlet, and congratulations, Mike got a promotion.
I saw that. I got an email. I was like, hey, I know Mike.
I read the pamphlet every day.
Do any good for you?
No, Nick Castellanos couldn't hit a home run. So actually,
Matt McSportsbook. Wow. Some places that prop got taken off the board yesterday.
Yeah, I think DraftKings took it off the board yesterday. It was incredible. It was plus 475. It had lower odds than guys who are like been hitting a lot of homers this year. I mean,
that game really, he was playing.
It was one of the most. You got to think. I would love for the MLB app to like if they had a like streaming, like if they know how many viewers are tuning in and tuning out every time, how many viewers there were for every Nick Castellanos at bat, because I myself tuned in specifically to the Mets-Phillies game yesterday just to see his two at bats. He struck out in both of them. So,
yeah, I lost.
Guy's a bum.
Yeah,
just ridiculous.
Wow,
no, he's not.
He's like East Coast sports fan. Just throw him to the curb.
He's actually playing really well this year. He's in
there. You
90.
go. Midwest Matt is back,
even after going over.
Bless his heart.
But I don't know, man. I wanted to win $60. Put $11 on it.
Read the pamphlet, McSportsbook. But Cam Jurgens, with
you
that,
laugh, but that might be an idea for
now
something.
that Cam Jurgens could buy Gage County. Did you hear what the first thing he's going to do?
It's genius
with his money.
I think I'll let you say it, but I'm pretty sure he could have gotten it before, right? Unless I think you would know how much it costs, but
maybe he's going to travel more. So his first purchase is TSA pre-check.
Smart. Didn't you say that's a thing to do? I said this at home when you said that.
Yes. So I am now in my second go around of TSA pre-check, which you know what? I love to fly.
You said it's worth it.
I love to fly.
Yeah.
It's getting tougher to fly. Now you got to have a real ID. People don't know what the real ID is.
Will the plane even land?
It's easier. It's easier for me.
That's the truth,
Jim. It was only a couple instances. It's still very safe to fly.
I'd rather fly than drive.
I mean,
1,000,000%. It's even with all of the terrible and unfortunate incidents as of late, it still is much safer to fly than to drive.
So my first time I went and got TSA pre-check, and it's a life changer.
Mm-hmm.
Some airports are definitely better than others.
Sure.
Some the line is exactly the same, but then there's clear. But went and got it. The process was really easy to renew. I had to renew in February. Nice and easy. There are a lot of like basketball programs where maybe you don't fly charter.
Okay.
Will purchase TSA pre-check for their
staff and
their team.
Yeah.
Unless you're an international and you cannot have TSA pre-check.
I think we did that for a trip once.
Hey, it's worth it. It's not as expensive as you think. Like the first time was like $80, $85 for 5 years. And then this one is like $50 for 5 years. But it is kind of funny. He's a guy who is out roping cattle in the off season.
It just seems like
playing golf at Hillcrest in Lincoln. And he's just made a lot of money and he's one of the top paid centers. That the first thing is on his mind is I'm going to get TSA pre-check. It's $85.
I was about to say
his previous salary. Mm-hmm. I'm sure that he could have stopped by and got it. But the fact that would come to the forefront of his mind is so Cam Jurgens. And why people in a blue-collar town that loves the birds embraces a guy like Cam Jurgens even more so.
Mm-hmm.
Money don't change him.
Yeah. Well,
You'll see him. He'll be back here in Lincoln. I wonder if he'll be here this weekend
I bet
for the spring game.
A good day to celebrate.
I mean, Matt Rule has been talking about
he wants to spend more of his offseason in Lincoln.
Him working out and being in the gym and everything like that. So I think he's been around here more. So I wouldn't.
He was last summer.
Yeah, I wouldn't see why he wouldn't be. Maybe
now he will not be standing in the regular line with you at Philadelphia to fly somewhere.
No,
and you're like, is that? Yeah, that is. But now he'll be on the side like at Epley. I don't know if you've ever flown out of Epley.
I have.
But you have the regular side,
yeah,
and then you have the fast lane moving against the wall for all of us TSA pre-checkers.
Do you feel big? Do you feel tall when you're walking through
I used to be an a-hole, and I used to smile.
Yeah.
Now I just keep my head down.
You're embarrassed?
No, I don't want to.
No, you're growing as you get older.
Because I can feel people staring.
Yeah,
they're judging you.
Oh, but
they're judging you.
See, that's their problem.
And I'm judging you on why you won't. You're paying $600 to fly to Belize. Why don't you just pay $85 to do TSA pre-check?
What I don't get is why are they judging you? All right, yeah. They're judging.
This is a judging society.
They're judging you because you're prepared. They're judging you because you invested. They're judging you because you have a clean record.
Have you not watched American Idol? This is a judging world.
We judge. Me, dog.
We do nothing but judge.
Simon Cowell was so good on that show. I mean, he changed a generation with that. But here's the thing. I don't know Cam Jurgens personally. I know that you know him much better than I do. But like from the stories we hear in the TSA pre-check and just how he is in interviews and whatnot, you just see him on the camera. He just seems like a dude's dude. He just seems like a guy's guy.
That's a great way to describe it.
You know, he's just like, he's Cam, you know, he likes to hang out with his buddies. He's a pretty happy-go-lucky. He's a bigger guy, super strong.
Yeah, I don't need to see that. I don't see that. I don't need to see that today's show.
Whoa.
Yeah. Well,
so the Pope is laying in state, and they got like a close-up. I'm good.
That's not polite.
Well,
I know that's what they do. And
did they not show him walking? I mean, they put him out kind of on a platter when they walk him out over into.
I don't think it's called a platter, but I know what you're talking about.
You know, I'm just saying.
Have some respect on the pontiff.
I mean, I do, but at the same time, I mean, it's everybody. Everybody can see him. I mean, it is out and about there.
But whoever the camera person is just zoomed in on him.
That's rude.
I don't know that that's allowed.
I'd be like, I can't do that.
I haven't even had my morning coffee yet. I don't know if I'm ready to see mortality like that.
Looks
anyway,
like great
Cam Jurgens.
Funeral is 4 a.m. Friday?
I think so, yeah.
4 a.m. Friday or Saturday?
Cam Jurgens seems like a guy's guy, and he's the type of dude you need in your football team. With especially in the NFL, when you got a lot of people walking around with a ton of money and attention and fame, and you can get a lot of prima donnas and whatnot that can, you know, kind of break apart a locker room. You definitely need a guy who just seems like he can, you know, you're going to go and grab beers with him. You're going to go on the golf course with him. You're going to hang out with him. I mean, you need that. That's the heart of the team.
That's called an offensive lineman.
Yeah. It's called all of them.
Like Cam Jurgens, that wouldn't be, he wouldn't be good as a defensive back. Like
do you want your defensive
wide receivers and defensive backs are divas?
Don't you want your wide receivers and defensive backs to be kind of divas? Don't you want it a little bit like that? I kind of want.
Ask Garrett McGuire.
I maybe, but I wouldn't want my wide receiver to be all, you know, shuttled in and, you know, just so happy-go-lucky or humble. I want him being like, no, I'm the best. I want a Justin Jefferson. I don't want a Stephon Diggs, but I'll take a Randy Moss. I'll take a little bit of a diva.
He is not a diva. He is somebody who if he plays at Nebraska, they got to give him a different helmet. I hate the helmets, the new helmets that have the weird face masks. So Marty Brown went to Miami yesterday. I'm sure that Miami found some money in the seat cushion of Guadalupe Lopez's house, who was a big booster.
Is that the guy who had didn't they have a big booster that apparently like his company is going through a big fraud scandal right now?
Yeah.
Did they ever figure that out? That story kind of just popped up in October.
There are no rules anymore. There are no rules in society.
And then it just went away.
There are no rules. So Marty Brown went to Miami, still scheduled to visit Nebraska on Thursday and on the docket to go to Cal. Kind of interesting.
Yeah.
That's quite the eclectic
He would go,
mix.
Hey, how many guys in the history of the portal would do back-to-back former Carolina Panther head coach visits? Because Matt Rule, of course, in Lincoln.
Yeah.
Ron Rivera is the general manager of Cal football.
He needs to go and visit Stanford then, too. Knock it out. I mean, get Frank Reich there as well. That would be the trifecta.
Captain
Is there
Luck.
any other Carolina Panthers out and about in college football? If there would be any other football franchise that would have plenty of former coaches and general managers out and
George
about.
Seifert, yay or nay with us?
Yeah, he's still with us.
Okay.
I'll
I don't want to make
double-check,
I don't want to make the
Is
mistake
Luke
of it.
Kuechly
Right.
like an assistant
Shout
general
out
manager
Billy Ray
yet at
Bates.
Boston College? That's bound to happen.
Yeah, Jimmy. Hey, it's not just 1620 The Zone that has trouble with dead or alive.
Yeah, that
Inside
was
the
tough.
NBA last night had to apologize for killing off
he
Billy
was
Ray
still
Bates.
with us. Yeah, he's 85 years young.
Well, I mean that show was on a heater last night because Shaq had to excuse himself. He had a little bit of in-show diarrhea. That's what live TV
Not
is.
of the mouth.
It was so
either,
great.
like the night before.
So scheduled to visit on Thursday in Lincoln. Then go to Cal, but was at Miami. You know, everything is fluid when you're in the portal. But all the things we've discussed about Marty Brown from prep, and he's a great kid, great family, great work ethic, head down, do work. I'm going to fight for carries, but I'm not going to uproot the team.
Yeah.
We got to work on his helmet, though. I hate those helmets. He has the goofy Joe Washington back in the day helmet that looks like it's so tiny, and then it has the wide open face, and it looks like a small face mask. I hate those
Makes
helmets.
me think of Jack Squire stepping in front of him.
But through
Rest
the
in
whole
peace.
conversation, and Sam will join us coming up at the bottom of the hour, and I'm sure he's got a thought or two. It just keeps going back to the debate of the running back at Nebraska that has been so mismanaged, from who the position coach is to who they're recruiting, and the misses that they've had. Is Marty is not a home run hitter. Emmett Johnson is not a home run hitter. Parker could be that home run hitter, but I think he's brought the doghouse with him. It just, Nebraska has to get better at recruiting running backs that are difference makers instead of part of a room. I mean, this week being NFL draft week, Amir is the last running back to be drafted. Okay, that
is crazy.
That's 10 years. So 10 years ago is the last time Nebraska had a running back drafted. The most recent guy in the backfield that's been drafted was the following year. It was a fullback when Janovich was drafted by Denver. But whether it's Marty Brown, Emmett Johnson, or whatever, and maybe it's Parker, and I think maybe it could be, is Nebraska has been in the wilderness in recruiting and developing running backs and figuring out what exactly they want out of a running back, or getting a running back that is a big-time difference maker. They don't have to be a first-round draft pick. We haven't had a first overall running back in the NFL draft since Kajana Carter from Penn State. What are we, 30 years?
Yeah.
The number one overall. Now, Barkley is Barkley.
Yeah.
Genty is Genty. Not everybody is built the same. But you're telling me that through the last 10 years, Nebraska hasn't been able to find a guy that if you need something to be housed and hit your head on the goalpost on a handoff, it's going to happen. Nebraska doesn't have that in their backfield right now.
It comes down to, in my opinion, two things. It comes down to offensive line play, and it comes down to winning, right? And I think that those two things are conjoined, because when you look at where the top running backs in the country, that the upper echelon 5-star guys are going, they're going to winning programs, right? And those winning programs have elite offensive lines, right? And have those identities. Look at Alabama, right? We call Alabama running back you or whatever, and we've seen all of these different running backs come out of there. But also, look at all the offensive linemen that Alabama consistently, year in and year out, are having drafted. Not just drafted, period, drafted in the first round, end of story. It seems like every single season you're having a number one overall, like, first round draft pick coming from Bama. Look at Georgia. Same conversation. They get the top running backs in the country. One guy Nebraska went after, Nate Frazier, ended up going to Georgia. Georgia, once again, has consistently elite offensive line play. And so when I think that, when these running backs are looking around at college teams that they want to play for, number one, they want to win. Number two, they want attention. And number three, they want an offensive line that they know that they can run behind. And so when I think you relate the running back problems and being unable to get these top guys to Nebraska, I think you also have to relate it to the offensive line problems, right? Part of the reason that Wisconsin has been able to get, really good running backs over the last couple of years is because they've been looked at as a place that has high-level offensive linemen come in, and that offensive linemen want to play there as well to be developed. And so when I don't think it just comes down to specifically, oh, Nebraska can't convince top running backs to school. I think it also has to do with, the lack. I mean, the last couple of years now, the offensive line has been looked at as a question mark or a weakness. And I think those two definitely are compatible in that.
They did there is a running back out of California that is a high 4-star, Brian Bonner, no relation to Janarian, who does have Nebraska, I believe, in his last 4. So I think it's Notre Dame. It might be 5. It might be Notre Dame.
Oh, Notre Dame, Washington,
Penn State, Nebraska, UCLA, and Washington. I think are his final 5. So you talk about offensive linemen. I'm trying to think. Amir and Rex, how many linemen did they run behind that were in the NFL? Spencer Long is 1. Alex Lewis?
Let me look here at the.
Are those the only 2 that would be NFL drafted linemen that were blocking for Burkhead and Amir?
I'm looking right now at the roster to see. So you had Amir who went to the NFL, and then you had. I'm looking at offensive linemen. Yeah, so Spencer Long, Price Givens, and Jeremiah Searles also was there too at the time. And then so those 3, when in Amir's last year, were all blocking, who all went to the NFL in some sort of capacity. So I mean, I think that it kind of comes down to that correlation of, if you're a top running back, I don't think you're going to be looking at a program or a school where it's like, hey, I'm going to have to go and do it all by myself, right? If I were a running back, I don't want to go into a program and look at a roster and be like, well, they have a question at center and they don't know who's playing guard or they don't know who's playing tackle. I want to go to a program where it's, hey, Tyler Booker is probably going to get drafted in the first round next year. Hey, I'm going to be running behind Evan Neal, who's probably going to be a top 10 pick. Go and look at Ohio State. They have Simmons and Jackson, these last 2 years alone, where it's like, man,
those
hey,
are 2 dudes in the backfield who I think could make people miss. Like Amir, Amir didn't need a great offensive line. That's what I'm looking for.
Sure.
If you're saying, okay, we're not really great at the offensive line, look at how many mistakes Amir made up for.
Yeah.
Because he was so good.
Sure.
That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for also top end speed. Like I agree with R on Twitter as he tweeted at me. Emmett Johnson is poised to have a big year this year. But Emmett Johnson probably is not an NFL, hey, I think he'll get drafted running back. But for Nebraska's offense, he's going to be ideal. They're going to utilize his strengths. I think he'll catch a lot of footballs this year out of the backfield. But the problem that limits him is that top end speed. We've seen him be able to get to the next level, but how many times has he pulled away from somebody to hit his head on the goalpost?
But those guys who have top end speed and those guys who can make guys miss in the phone booth and don't necessarily need to have a great offensive line.
See a lot of them at Minnesota.
With Darius Kaler,
at Iowa.
Darius Kaler, yeah, and Iowa's got also another team that has developed some good offensive linemen over the last couple of years, right? I mean, the one that comes to mind immediately is Tristan Wirfs, but like those are Iowa developed good offensive lines. You get a guy like Caleb Brown to go there. My point is, I agree with you. You want running backs who don't necessarily need to run behind good offensive lines in order to be good. But what makes you attractive? What makes those top end guys want to come to your school? It's relationships, it's coaching, sure, it can be facilities, but I think a massive part in that is, who am I running behind? How many opportunities am I going to get? What is the scheme? How has this team run the football in the past? I think when you look at all of those factors, especially over the last couple of years, Nebraska has been lacking in that regard in terms of having top offensive linemen and top running games and top coaching. And so those are sure.
Reggie Davis, Jesus.
You want a guy who.
How was he ever a running back coach at Nebraska?
It's just failure. It just comes down to coaching, not only just from the running back room, from the offensive line room as well. Just period.
Do you think kids today know who Amir is?
Abdullah?
Mm-hmm.
Of course. I think so. He was a decent name in Detroit too. Like, he wasn't like a national, like a top, oh my God, Amir Abdullah is like a top 5 running back in the league.
He's found a home with the Raiders.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But I think that when he was in Detroit as well, he was people knew who he was. He was pretty electric in his first couple of years, and
Put
now
together a long career.
I mean, he pops up a lot. Like you said, he's found a home with the Raiders. I mean, he's playing every year in the NFL. I'm pretty sure he scored a couple touchdowns last season for them. It was a pretty big factor for them down the year.
Which
So
the Raiders did do
I only
that
root
much.
against him twice a year. All right, Sam McEwen's going to join before the hour is over. This is the last week of spring. Very few media opportunities this spring to watch.